Canada is so unique. Canada has 3 oceans, and there is an expectation that Canada's Navy is able to operate domestically anywhere in Canada.
Aye, ready? Aye. Welcome everyone, it's me, Matsmas. Thank you so much for joining me today on this video. So today we're diving into a topic that does not get as much attention as I really believe and deserve that it should be. The Royal Canadian Navy. Now, I'm not a sailor, I don't claim to know much about the Navy, but as a proud member of the Canadian Armed Forces and the Canadian Army, I think it's my duty as a public influencer on my channel to shed light on the incredible work the Royal Canadian Navy is doing. In this video, we're going to explore the exciting future for the Navy, including some amazing new ships coming down the pipeline. We'll also take a trip back to my recent visit to Her Majesty's Canadian ship Fredericton in Halifax when she was in dry dock. So, sit back, relax, and let's sail on this naval journey. Now, let me start this video as well by saying something very important. The opinions and the thoughts shared on here are purely of my own. This video is not sponsored, endorsed, or encouraged by the Canadian Armed Forces in any way. I'm not at liberty to speak about government policies, defence politics, operational topics related to the Navy or the CAF. What I can do, however, is share what I've learned and my personal admiration for the Royal Canadian Navy. This video is purely for entertainment and educational purposes, designed to highlight the incredible work of a branch of the military that in my opinion, doesn't always get the spotlight it truly deserves. And as a soldier, I can safely say that there is so much more focus on things like Latvia and deployments on the ground, and not so much at sea. As a proud member of the Army and the Canadian Army Reserve, it's so important that we talk about these times where things are difficult. But today, I really want to shift that focus on how much the Navy plays a vital role in Canada's defence strategy. And I think it's time we gave it some well-earned recognition. Now, on a personal note, I've had a strong passion for the love of the Navy, not just the Canadian Navy, but the Navy in general. This fascination goes back to my childhood, influenced by my father, who was incredibly, very fond, in fact, of the Royal Navy back in England. His love for ship-of-the-line vessels, particularly HMS Victory, and his knowledge of naval warfare and doctrine was something he shared with me growing up. It planted a seed of curiosity and respect for naval history, and it's a vital role in shaping nations, particularly here in Canada. When I had the opportunity to visit Halifax in the East Coast earlier this year, it was truly a humbling experience. Halifax, with its rich maritime history and strong ties to both Canadian and British naval heritage, reminded me of how much pride I feel knowing we have a Navy that represents our nation so well. The connection between Canada and the Commonwealth, especially through naval traditions, is something we should all take pride in if you live in Canada. During my visit to Halifax, I had the incredible opportunity to not only go to the town and look around the site, but attending as a unit public affairs representative, it gave me a big eye-opening value of why aren't I trying to work with other services instead of just talking about the Army. And during my time, I actually got a tour of Her Majesty's Canadian ship Fredericton, otherwise known as Freddie, one of Canada's Halifax-class frigates. Now, she wasn't exactly ready to sail into the sunset when I saw her. She was in dry dock, undergoing maintenance, but let me tell you, seeing a ship like that up close, which, by the way, I've never been on board an active ship before, even in dry dock, is nothing short of awe-inspiring. One of the officers on board gave me a fantastic deep dive tour as a parting gift at the end of the course, and they also gave me a patch of the ship because they were one of the officers on board the ship. So that kind of thing, that collaboration, that connection and networking between, the tri-services, Army, Navy, Air Force is really humbling, really, really cool. And I got along with the Navy personnel that were kind of showing me around and on the course themselves very, very well. And let's just say that patch now is one of my most prized possessions to have Fredericton patch, and we did a bit of a trade-off. But it was during that tour that I really began to appreciate just how vital what the Navy does and its role in Canada's defence strategy overall. I mean, as you saw at the beginning of the video, we're surrounded by ocean. We're a huge nation, a huge landmass. And when you have huge landmass, you have a lot of water touching it. So going around the ship, walking around the ship, talking to the crew members, it was like, wow, there's a lot more going on here in the defense world that I'm aware of, just being a soldier. A very, very different world. And as I said, not exposed enough to the Navy, but the different trades, the different things that are going on board the ship. It was like, wow, like I've never experienced that kind of hub of activity before. And as I said, never been on an active warship before, but very, very cool. But let's address a bit of the elephant, or maybe the anchor in the room. Yes, The Navy, like all branches of the Canadian Armed Forces, faces its own challenges, whether it's funding, public perception, or operational demands. These issues are no secret, but here's what's amazing. Despite these obstacles, our sailors, men and women alike, continue to deliver. They're out there, braving the elements and working tirelessly to protect Canada's interests at home and abroad. And while the Navy might not always be getting the recognition it deserves or the spotlight, similar to that you would see of, say, the Air Force or the Army in things that have been going off Rust lately, for instance, the Royal Canadian Air Force's 100th anniversary, and for the Army, we've had a lot of sort of more tactile things going on with operational deployments in Latvia and such. I want to say this loud and clear to everyone serving in the Royal Canadian Navy. I see you, I respect you, and I stand with you on every ship, vessel, wherever you are in your careers and in your service. Thank you truly for what you do. And that's not me just saying it for saying it. It means a lot. I'm a proud Canadian. I'm proud of where I'm from and being a citizen of this country. And having you as Navy personnel supporting and protecting my nation means a lot to me. So thank you. So let's talk a little bit about the future. I mean, we understand that Halifax class ships are of an older design, very old design. Let's just be clear about that. But the future is coming. The Type 26 frigates, also known as the Canadian Surface Combatants, are going to be game changers. These multi-role warships are designed to handle anti-submarine warfare, air defense, and high-intensity operations. They'll be replacing the aging Halifax-class frigates, and they're a testament to Canada's commitment to staying ahead in naval defense. And believe me, when this ship does come into fruition, it's going to be pretty interesting to see. The Canadian Surface Combatant, CSC, based on the Type 26 frigate, represents the next generation of warships for the Royal Canadian Navy. These vessels are part of Canada's national shipbuilding strategy aimed at modernising the fleet to meet 21st century threats and challenges. The Type 26 is a versatile, multi-mission frigate designed to deliver excellent anti-submarine warfare, air defense, and general-purpose operations. At approximately 150 metres in length and displacing around about 8,000 tonnes, the Type 26 is larger than Canada's current Halifax-class frigates. Powered by a combined diesel-electric and gas turbine propulsion system, the frigates boast an impressive range of over 7,000 nautical miles, ensuring a global reach and endurance around Canada's long-distance coastlines. One of the defining features of the Type 26 is its advanced sensors and weapon suites. This includes sophisticated radar and sonar systems for detecting underwater and aerial threats. Bear in mind that Canada's submarine fleet is also aging, and working on the frigate class first to detect submarines I think is going to be primarily the biggest focus when it comes to going against anti-submarine warfare. One of the other biggest capabilities of this particular ship is it's equipped with a vertical launch system capable of deploying a wide array of missiles, including the Sea Scepter for air defense and long-range options for land attack. Additionally, it can host a CH-148 Cyclone helicopter and deploy drones, further enhancing its operational flexibility. The modular mission bay is a standout feature, allowing the ship to adapt to various roles such as humanitarian assistance, anti-piracy, or special operations, with a focus on survivability and sustainability. The design incorporates stealth features somewhat as well to reduce its radar signature, although not its primary focus. Interestingly, the ship is also very focused on automating its systems to reduce crew workload. Canada plans to acquire 15 of these frigates to replace the Halifax-class fleet. This investment underscores our nation's commitment to maritime security and interoperability with allied navies, even if there is a time period for them to come, which, as I mentioned, I'm not allowed to talk about. The CSC Type 26 will undoubtedly, though, be a cornerstone of Canada's naval power for decades to come when they come into power, ensuring there's a huge operational readiness in an unpredictable world. But there's a whole host of other ships that are still being procured and being designed, preparing our fleet for the future, and some of them already in service. Let's take a look at some other ones. For instance, the Harry DeWolf class Arctic and offshore patrol ship. These ships are already in making waves, literally, and designed for Arctic and offshore patrols. They've been equipped to operate in Canada's icy northern waters, a capability that is more important now than ever. With these ships, Canada is extending its reach and asserting sovereignty in the Arctic North.
Sheets of ice, icebergs, and cold Arctic winds aren't the only thing found in Canada's northernmost coasts. Now there's something a little different. The new Arctic and offshore patrol ships are designed with a thick, robust hull that will allow them to break through over a meter of first-year ice. Bow thrusters on either side of the hull allow the ship to maneuver and berth without the assistance of tugboats, making it very agile. The ship is 103 meters in length and 19 meters wide, making it noticeably shorter in length than the Halifax-class frigates. However, the Harry DeWolf displaces almost 2,000 tons more water than its counterpart. In order to propel and power a vessel of this size, the Harry DeWolf class is equipped with two 4.5 megawatt diesel propulsion engines and four 3.6 megawatt electric generators. On the front of the ship, the enclosed forecastle protects the crew and the cable deck machinery from the harsh Arctic environments. Directly above the enclosed forecastle boasts a modified remote-controlled 25mm BAE Mark 38 gun system, which features highly accurate targeting and surveillance system that allows the M242 cannon to excel against fast surface and air threats. In combination with two mounted 50 caliber machine guns, the Harry DeWolf class has enough firepower to easily enforce domestic laws from coast to coast to coast. The integrated bridge enables the control of navigation, machinery, and damage control systems. This state-of-the-art bridge gives the captain a great overview of everything going on around the ship at all times. Just below the bridge are multi-role rescue boats. These boats extend the reach of the ship by assisting in search and rescue missions, personal transfers, and boarding operations. The Harry DeWolf class houses a lot more than just rescue boats. The stern of the ship contains a vehicle bay, allowing it to carry vehicles such as pickup trucks, ATVs, and snowmobiles, as well as other heavy payloads. Built into the stern of the ship are two cranes, a 3-ton crane and a 20-ton crane that can load vehicles and payloads when needed. The flight deck allows the Harry DeWolf class to also embark some of the largest helicopters in Naval. These capable and multifunctional Arctic and offshore patrol ships are at the core of increasing Canada's armed presence and surveillance throughout Canadian and international waters.
Now, I was actually able to see these ships in Halifax and Nova Scotia, and it was really cool to see them moored up on the harbour there. And talking to actually some of the sailors, there was mixed discussions about it. Again, cannot comment on those discussions, but it was really cool to see them, so to speak, in the steel on the side of the harbour there, because you don't get to see ships like that every day, particularly here in Canada, because to travel to one side or the other of the country, it costs a lot of money. It's a long way away, so being able to see an opportunity like that and actually seeing the Harry DeWolf class in harbour was really, really cool. Next up, we're going to look at the Protector class ship, which is a support ship enabling extended operations. These ships are another exciting addition to the fleet. They're replenishment ships that are designed to keep the Navy operational for extremely long periods of time, providing fuel, ammunition, and other supplies to ships at sea. They're a critical piece of the puzzle, ensuring the Navy can go distance without having to return to port. Logistics at sea is crucial, because as we all know, you run out of food or fuel, there's no one coming for you. You are stuck in the middle of the ocean. So I really like the fact that these ships have been made with that in mind and looking out for the rest of the fleet, because it's not always about missiles flying, torpedoes dipping into the water, or phalanx flying in the sky. It is really, really important to make sure that the ships have what they need. So let's take a look at the Protector class ship next.
22,000 tons of wave-crushing steel. This is the Protector class. The Protector class will serve as the Royal Canadian Navy's core replenishment vessel. Equipped with dual replenishment at sea stations, this ship will be able to supply up to 8,000 tons of fuel, which could allow a task group to stay at sea for an additional 30 days. It will have 4 stabilized, remotely controlled 50 caliber machine guns that can automatically track targets. 2 closed-in weapon systems mounted on the bow and the stern of the ship are able to shoot down missiles and other threats. The ship hangar can support up to 2 CH-148 Cyclone helicopters with full air operational capabilities at Maintenance Base. The Protector class is also equipped with advanced surveillance capabilities like 3D radar, an electronic warfare suite, and system to detect and protect against chemical, biological, and nuclear threats. The ship will be able to carry up to 6 20-foot sea containers used to carry mission-specific equipment, as well as operate a self-propelled modular barge for transferring large amounts of supplies from ship to shore. The ship will have state-of-the-art medical facilities and crew amenities, including dental care, 2 gyms, internet access, classrooms, a barbershop, and a library. The Protector class survivability and defense capabilities will allow them to sustain other ships in high-threat environments. This is the Protector class.
And last but not least, let's talk about the River-class ships. And I'm going to say it in Canadian because when I say river in British, people get really upset. It's river with some extra R's at the end. North American River-class ships. These versatile vessels are designed for a variety of missions, from humanitarian aid to anti-piracy operations. They're small but mighty, and the offering of flexibility to support both domestic and international missions. Let's take a look.
Rivers yearn for the sea. Rivers are the veins of our nation. Rivers are a critical natural force in our landscape, our economy, and Royal Canadian Naval history. We are proud to introduce the next class of Canadian warships. The River class is a guided missile destroyer with radar that can detect threats from the surface all the way to space. These next-generation destroyers will be Canada's major surface combatant. The first 3 ships will be named after Canada's most important waterways that reach the Pacific, Atlantic, and Arctic Oceans. They will be named HMCS Fraser, HMCS Saint Laurent, and HMCS Mackenzie. The land-based test facility will be named HMCS Assiniboine, after one of our most storied ships. The Assiniboine River does not flow into the ocean, a fitting name for this facility. The naming of naval ships is a time-honored maritime tradition. The River-class ships will be named in honor of the vessels of our past and celebrate the heritage of Indigenous peoples. We are a country of rivers, a shipbuilding nation, and together, building Canada's fleet.
So there you have it, an exciting look at the future of the Royal Canadian Navy. From state-of-the-art Type 26s, the hardy Harry DeWolf class, the Vital Protection, the River-class ships, it's clear that the Navy is evolving to meet challenges of the modern world, and it's going to take time. Ships aren't tanks. Tanks take, a few months to a year to produce. These ships take a lot of time. There's so much infrastructure. Again, not talking about the intricacies of procurement and things. It's not my place to. But I'm excited. I'm excited for the Navy. Would I like them to be sooner? Sure I would. Would I like there to be more? Sure, of course I would. I'm sure the Navy would too. The fact of the matter is, they will come. And as a member of the Canadian Forces, I'm proud to stand alongside our sailors, even though I'm more comfortable on land than I ever will be at sea. This is me actually looking at Fredericton's gun here. Absolutely beautiful gun. She's actually got the emblem, which you're going to see there shortly. You can actually see the dents of the rounds ejecting into the side there, which I thought was rather fascinating. But before we wrap up, I do want to give a massive shout out to the Royal Canadian Navy's Public Affairs team. Your videos are stunning. Very well made for showing off these ships. I love the theme, the aura. And if you're watching this and you ever have any opportunities for someone like me, a Canadian Army reservist and content creator, to come along with you and showcase some of your equipment, tactics, doctrine, or your amazing people you serve alongside, I'd love to be involved. So there's a little prompt and shout out for you there. It would be a privilege to show my audience more of the incredible work you do, whether it's out to sea or on a base or whatever you need me to be. Consider this my shameless plug. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and comment and subscribe for more content about the Canadian Armed Forces. Until next time, stay safe and stay proud of what our military achieves every day. Aye, ready, aye. Matsmas out.